Picture this. You're pulled over, or an officer knocks on your window. The question seems simple, almost friendly. So, where are you headed tonight? Or where are you coming from? Your instinct to be polite kicks in. You start answering. But in that moment, you might be handing over the first piece of a puzzle that the police can use to build reasonable suspicion, or worse, to justify a search of your vehicle. This isn't just legal advice. It's a critical survival skill for any encounter with law enforcement. Defense attorneys have one consistent, urgent warning for clients. Never, under any circumstances, answer police questions about your travel or destination. Whether you're completely innocent or simply cautious, understanding why this rule exists could protect your freedom. Why such a simple question is so dangerous. At first glance, questions about your travel plans seem harmless. They feel like small talk, a way to break the ice. But in reality, they're a highly calculated investigative technique taught to officers for one purpose: to gather evidence. Here's what happens when you answer. You start a fishing expedition. Your answer gives the officer a baseline. Are you going home? They might ask for your address to compare it to your license. Coming from a party? The next question will be about alcohol. Headed to a nearby city known for nightlife? That might be noted as suspicious. Any slight inconsistency, hesitation, or even an answer they deem odd becomes a reason to extend the stop and ask more questions. You help build reasonable, articulable suspicion. This is the legal standard. An officer needs to detain you longer than a routine traffic stop. Your travel story, combined with factors like nervous behavior or the time of night, can be used to meet this threshold. Courts have repeatedly ruled that vague, inconsistent, or implausible travel stories justify prolonged detentions, drug-sniffing dogs, and searches. You pave the way for a consent search. Once you're engaged in friendly conversation, the officer can smoothly transition to, "You don't mind if I take a quick look in your car, do you?" Just to be safe. Feeling cooperative and wanting to appear innocent, many people say yes. This is a trap. You have an absolute right to refuse a search, but saying no after being chatty suddenly makes you look guilty in the officer's eyes, giving him a new angle to pursue. Your rights, what the law actually says. You are protected by both the Fifth Amendment, right against self-incrimination, and the Fourth Amendment, right against unreasonable searches and seizures. During a traffic stop, you are legally required to provide your driver's license, vehicle registration, proof of insurance. You're not legally required to answer questions about where you are going or coming from. Answer questions about what you are doing, who you are with, or whether you've been drinking. Consent to a search of your vehicle. The famous Miranda warning, anything you say can and will be used against you in a court of law, applies long before you're arrested. It applies right there on the roadside. Casual answers are evidence. Exactly what to do and say, the practical script. Your goal is to be calm, polite, and silent beyond providing your documents. Have a script ready. When the officer asks, "Where are you headed?" your response should be one of these clear, respectful phrases. "Officer, I don't answer questions. I'm exercising my right to remain silent. I prefer not to discuss my travel." What happens next? The officer will likely push back. They may say, "Why not? I'm just making conversation. If you have nothing to hide, why won't you answer?" Your response remains the same, polite but firm. "I respect your job, but I do not answer questions. I choose to remain silent." Do not argue. Do not explain. Do not get drawn into a debate. Repeating your simple, constitutional stance is your most powerful tool. A crucial question for you, the reader. We all want to be seen as helpful, compliant citizens. The social pressure to answer a simple question from an authority figure is immense. But knowing what you now know, would you have the courage to politely refuse to answer the "Where are you headed?" question, accepting that it might create an awkward moment, understanding that this single act is your strongest shield against self-incrimination? Consider this. The temporary discomfort of silence is infinitely preferable to the life-altering consequences of a prolonged detention, an unwarranted search, or a self-incriminating statement. What feels like rude in the moment is, in the eyes of the law, smart, and protective. The bottom line: silence is your superpower. The roadside is not a courtroom. The officer is not your friend. Their duty is to investigate and gather evidence. Your duty is to protect your constitutional rights. The most damning evidence they can never get is the evidence you never give them. Your own words. Remember, provide your documents. Be courteous. Be silent. Ask, am I free to go? Once the traffic stop's purpose, like writing a ticket, is complete. If things escalate, clearly state, I do not consent to any searches, and request a lawyer. This advice isn't about getting away with anything. It's about ensuring the system functions as designed, with the burden of proof on the state, not on your ability to navigate a high-stakes, informal interrogation. Protect yourself. Know your rights. Use them.